This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and fire. We keeping the foot on the what? On the Knicks. We keeping the foot on the what? On the Knicks. Let's talk about it. So all of a sudden, first it starts with Jayson Tatum's mom. Then Bob Cousy, a Boston Celtics NBA legend. It's a things that make you say, It's a things that make you say, but in its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-telling fashion. What did I tell y'all? And a prediction king strikes again. And a prediction king strikes again. I'm saying all of these things in the He Knows Everything vernaculars, the terminologies, the catchphrases, the swags, the vibes, the energies. Because I told y'all, a lot of people on this planet, they're dumb motherfuckers, man. They're dodo heads. They're brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads. So at their truest and their most properest levels, they can't process. They don't have corpus callosums. They don't have cerebellums. They don't have medulla oblongatas. They don't have even brain cells. They missed the early onset of childhood behavior, which was very key and prevalent in mental cognitive development. So because they can't process simple shit, they can't even process what I'm talking about. So it always takes them months and years later to figure out what I've been telling them. I've been prepping you guys on this Team USA stuff for weeks now. I told you guys that they basically push a Leagenda to prop up a Grandpa. Let me say it again. They pushed a Leagenda to prop up a Grandpa. Why did they do that? What was the reason behind that? Why did they even need to do that in the first place? They didn't have to. They tried to push Stephen Curry. I told you guys, these guys are the two most overrated basketball players the NBA's ever seen. These guys are fundamentally rudimentary and from a fiscal standpoint, the two most overrated basketball players the NBA has ever seen. These guys are exactly what is wrong with the game of basketball. Because Stephen Curry gives you the exploit that most people play the game of basketball. That's why most people root for Stephen Curry. Because most people, when you ever played against them in street ball, you ever played against them in basically organized basketball, they always want to shoot a fucking three. It's a low percentage shot. For a motherfucking reason. You live and you die by the 3-point shot. It is fundamentally the worst shot in basketball. It is an errant shot. Now, don't get me wrong. If you have a 3-point specialist and they're wide open to take the shot, then go ahead and take it. But it's not the opportune. It's not the highest percentage. And it's not fiscally the best fucking shot to take. But most people do that shit. They do that bullshit and that fuck shit. They're all about the bullshittery and the fuck shittery of simply taking a shot that they're not supposed to take. But Stephen Curry has made this shot become the most famous shot in the game of basketball. But is it really a shot that you're supposed to be taking from a basketball standpoint regularly? Shooting from half court regularly. This is shit we do. You know, like when Jordan had the commercial with Larry Bird and then they just like was playing horse. Like you do that shit in horse. But in the organized game, in the game of basketball, it doesn't work. Case in point, I have the proof. Stephen Curry shows up the last two games because all of a sudden his shot develops. But what about all the other games? The 0 for 6s, the 0 for 7s, the 0 for 4s, the 0 for 5s, the 0 for 8s. No one wants to talk about that. But they want to talk about the last two games that he actually stepped up and did something prevalent. He sucked. And for him to clog up damn near 24 minutes just to get 14 point something points per game, it's a things that make you say, LeBron James, just to get 14.8 points, he averaged damn near 25 fucking minutes. But no one wants to talk about Anthony Edwards only averaging 16 minutes and damn near giving you 13 points. He almost scored a minute per point from the fucking bench. He should have been starting because he's the new face of the NBA. Kevin Durant, the greatest scorer in Team USA, arguably one of the greatest, if not the greatest players ever to grace a Team USA uniform, should have been starting. Jayson Tatum should have started. The fact that these three guys were not starting in your starting lineup, it's a travesty. I would have started Jayson Tatum over Stephen Curry. My starting lineup would have been Jayson Tatum, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Joel Embiid. Let me say it again. Jayson Tatum, Anthony Edwards, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Joel Embiid. That makes sense. I get why LeBron James would start. I understand that. But he shouldn't be no fucking MVP. Not being a little grandpa. Team USA has always been about out with the old, in with the new. Let me say it again. Out with the old, in with the new. You always got to think of the new. So, of course, people are going to be at an uproar. Steve Kerr had a selfish and a biased agenda. He was all about pushing LeBron James and Stephen Curry. This is why Jayson Tatum didn't see no minutes. This is why Anthony Edwards operated from the bench. This is why Kevin Durant operated from the bench. But I'm going to explain to you guys what happened here. Kevin Durant played from the bench because Steve Kerr wanted to punish Kevin Durant for leaving Golden State Warriors. See, nobody's telling you this shit. I'm going to give you guys the real tea. Anthony Edwards, LeBron James basically forced the team to say that he's the MVP to get Anthony Edwards to not be the guy. Because LeBron James understood fundamentally, rudimentary, and from a fiscal standpoint, Anthony Edwards had to be the guy. Because, out with the old, in with the new. So what does LeBron James do? Because he's a media attention whore, he holds on to the fact that if I can get the whole team, if I can get the whole consensus, if I can get everybody to push this shit, then guess what I can do? I can get everybody on my board. And that's why they came out and said LeBron James was the best player on the team. This is what we call la insecurity and la misery, as you know what, in your motherfucking life. Because why are you worried about a young kid? And so much so he even took shots at him about the whole champagne thing and said because he couldn't pop the bottle fast enough, oh, you're not used to this. You gotta see right through the shit, man. I always see right through the bullshit and the fuck shit. And then all of a sudden, you got Jayson Tatum, a guy who clearly won an NBA Finals and Finals MVP. Well, he didn't win the Finals MVP. That was Jaylen Brown. Let me stop the presses and pump the brakes on my nonsense. And let me go sit down somewhere and higgity hush myself. Yes, I can higgity hush myself when I say something that is egregious and something that is not true. But he won a Finals. He was an NBA champion. This was a guy that put up almost 27 points per game. And why didn't he see no minutes significantly against teams like Serbia in the France game? This man played a combined 11 fucking minutes logging in your most epic games. He didn't even get no minutes in the France game. That's fucked up. But see, this is the thing. When you have a LeBron James team, you have a Stephen Curry team, and you have Steve Kerr as your coach. This is why I say Steve Kerr is over fucking rated, and he should never be the coach of Team USA. Thank goodness LeBron James is his last Team USA, because now we don't have to worry about this little grandpa nonsense. And the same thing with Stephen Curry. I feel the 28 team is going to restore basketball to the natural order of things, because the starting lineup is going to look like what it's supposed to. At its truest and its most properest levels. There's levels to this shit. There's gears, and the levels and the gears are as simple as this. That Steve Kerr had an agenda. That the agenda was to get LeBron James this MVP, even though he wasn't deserving of it. And last that I checked, when has Olympics basketball ever had fucking MVPs? We knew unquestionably who was the best player, but see, they're always creating a new parameter, new rule, and new setting for fucking LeBron James. And Stephen Curry, people talking about he was robbed of the MVP. I'm going to tell you guys something right now. LeBron James or Stephen Curry didn't deserve the MVP. The real MVP was Anthony Edwards. Let me say it again. LeBron James and Stephen Curry didn't deserve the MVP. The real MVP was Anthony Edwards, because Anthony Edwards, from the bench, was the most productive player. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat true teller fashion. I keeps the foot on the what? On the Knicks. I keeps the foot on the what? On the Knicks. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.